Hey all, Smiley here. Today has been an interesting day. Started off this morning with a doctor's appointment, nothing serious, just to follow up for my medical issues and the need to organise a blood test. But the experience of going to the doctors was so daunting. You walk in and they're all gowned and masked up, and the doctor is also gowned and masked up. And I know the reason why, and I understand it, and I completely get it. And, talking to the doctor is unnerving when you can't see her face, or at least it was for me. Luckily, I wasn't there for anything serious. It was just sort of a general chat. I didn't need to get her to look at anything. So that was probably a good thing, worked in my favour. But it was a little unnerving, maybe because you can't really see a lot when someone's face is covered. That's just me, that's just a personal thing, but I can get that other people have that as well, or even worse, so I get it. But she explained that they'll be doing, over the phone consults with everything that's been going on, so if I get my blood test and get the results, I can talk to her about those results and organise scripts and stuff like that from there, so that's good to know. They're taking those steps. Spoke to my dad earlier, that was really good, just checked to make sure that everybody's okay. My nan is 95 and I'll always worry about her getting sick. I haven't been to see her since before Christmas. Don't want to go there, I don't want to take any chances. People in that age bracket and people who are sick are going to be more likely to get anything if you do have it. My uncle's another prime example. He's not been very well for most of my life. I know he doesn't have a really great immune system, so I know that they're the sort of people that it's going to affect more, and I would never take those chances. So it was good to know that everybody's okay though. That's good. And then I went to the shops and I just got a couple of things like painkillers, because I'm petrified of running out of those at the moment. And just a couple of things. They had toilet paper. I didn't even try for that. I don't need it. But it was ridiculous seeing nearly every single person in the shop had a pack of toilet paper. And I'm meaning kids as well. Like parents and their kids were all taking toilet paper. It's ridiculous. You don't need that much toilet paper. And even if you went to the toilet that much, there's a shower or a bath. There are other options. I don't understand it. Toilet paper is not a necessity. It feels crazy. It feels raw and real and a little bit scary. Like, I'm not scared, I'm not worried, I'm not feeling doomsday-ish, but just concerned about how it's all going to go and how long it's going to last and who's going to be affected, I think, is the biggest issues. But we'll see what happens. Thanks for listening to my little rant in this daunting world that we live in right now. This week on Wednesday, we started working from home. I filmed a video that day, and for some reason, technical difficulties, the audio hasn't turned out. My phone was obviously playing up, so now I'm just here, me and the pussycats, which kind of sad, but they're so lazy. They just sleep all day. It's fine. I've tried to go outside, normally the cats go outside during the day. I put them out before I go to work in the morning, and then they come in about 6 o'clock, 6:30. So they're not always in with me. I had to run and get a blood test on Thursday, so I left them inside. And then when I came back, they were asleep, and I was like, I'm not going to bother them. And they pretty much slept all day, because they're cats, and that's what cats do. On Friday, I left them in because my colleagues, or my manager, has set up video conferencing in the morning and in the afternoon, just, so we can basically just chat and know that we're still, part of the team, and we're still all working together, chat about any issues that we've encountered. So it's really good. It really helps to have those meetings, those little meetings. It's not really a meeting, we don't even have to talk about work, but my manager introduced her cat, and then a colleague introduced her cat. So on Friday I left them in and I introduced them to my colleagues as well, because, you know, they're adorable. And my colleagues have cats, all but one. So that's sort of cool. I'm lucky I'm working. I've still got an income. I don't have to expose myself by going outside unless I have to. So I know, and I've said it before, I know that I'm one of the lucky ones. But I'm still thinking about all these other people, and I do feel devastated at all these people who have lost their jobs and things like that. I'm just sad. I just feel sad about it, you know, but I'm also glad at some things, because some things make me happy. Like, not about the whole situation. The whole situation is horrible right now. It really feels like something out of a movie, but this is our life, and you know, the world is going to change. It's not going to go back to being exactly the same, because we've all been through this. It's horrible. You know, I feel for all the people all around the world, but I'm trying not to think about that, because it's just going to destroy me if I keep thinking like that. So sometimes you just have to put yourself in your little bubble and think about the people that you're protecting to get through. And think about the little things, like I might be self-isolating, I might be in home like many other people around the world, you know, and sometimes I do feel lonely because I don't have anyone to share that with. Just me and the cats, which aren't even my cats. But, you know, I know that without them I'd really be struggling. So I'm just looking at Zach as he sleeps on the pillow, and Izzy's right here. The camera's too high, but she's right there. And you know, they've got a special place in my heart. So I'm just having a moment to sit down for the first time today, because I've actually been quite busy, which it's just because I'm trying to get stuff out of the way today so that I don't have to leave the house again. After working from home for 3 days, I realized there are things that I need. Like, one, my work laptop doesn't have enough USB ports for me to actually have everything that I need plugged in. So I went and got one of those little USB hubs, and that'll help. Just that was a necessity. And while I was out, I got other things like snacks, because I realized I had no snack food in the house. And I know that it's not necessarily a necessity, but it'll help with everything. The one thing that's different between work and home, well, not one thing, there's lots of things that's different between working at home and working at work. One, there's nobody around at home. Two, I have a standing desk at work. I don't have a standing desk at home, and my medical issues means that I have to get up and walk around more because I can't sit for long periods. So that means getting up and snacking, which is probably not a good thing when I'm talking about losing weight. But I didn't get unhealthy things. I got things like muesli bars and what was it? Little bags of popcorn and things like that. But they're all little bags of things, so it's not like I'm going to gorge myself on a whole bag of Doritos or something, which is probably what's going to happen because that's all that I've got in the cupboard in the way of chips and things. So this was a better option. And I got a little bit of soft drink. I know I'm trying to cut it out, but I'm cutting out Coke because I started drinking that again for the caffeine since I don't drink coffee. So a little bit of vanilla Coke. Vanilla Coke is my weakness. I love it so much. So I'm trying to cut that out. So I'm just going to go back to normal soft drink, and then eventually I'll cut that out too, and then try and just drink water. I know that I was going out for necessities today, but I have to admit that I'm honestly disappointed with Australians right now, or Victorians at least, because my local supermarket and the shops, the butcher, everywhere like that, it was packed. The car park was as busy as it usually is on a weekend. There were people everywhere. No one was keeping their distance. There are a tape on the floor at counters for like the butcher and that, and some of the restaurants and takeaway places, and no one's abiding by it. They're all inside. I was chatting to a lady, and it's not something that I'm sort of acknowledging, but I'm starting to acknowledge it more. Like, we were chatting and we were keeping our distance, but as we chatted more, we got closer and closer together. And then, as we sort of went, oh, well, good luck, stay safe, blah, 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 she touched me on the shoulder, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the moment, you're kind of like, oh, and it's strange, but right now, people seem to be doing exactly what they normally do, and it's a shame. And it makes you angry and annoyed. I know that I was out and I was doing stuff, so I'm part of the problem as well. But I was just trying to do essential things that I knew I needed. I just want to say this. I hope everybody is doing okay. I know everybody's got their own struggles, and I know everybody's going through something. We're all going through something together, but we're all going through it separately as well, in a sense that we're all going through something different. I don't have kids, I'm single. There are people with kids that are going through it in a different way. There are people with partners who will be going through it in a different way. There will be single people without pets that are going through it in a different way. Like, we're all going to be dealing with this differently. I'm probably finding it a bit harder now because, I don't know, it's my brain just goes into these stages where I've been talking to friends pretty much every day, and then all of a sudden they've stopped responding to me, and my brain goes to all these places. Oh, what have I said that's wrong? What have I done? What have I done to annoy them? And, I don't want to be the person that's messaged them 8 times and they still haven't responded. And then, I wait a couple of weeks and message them again. I feel like I'm just bombarding them. So I'll just leave it and wait for them to message me. And if they don't, they don't. But those thoughts are in my head, and which stops me from doing it sometimes. Especially if I've said something and I don't know. That's how my brain works. I guess that's part of my anxiety and stuff like that. But, we all have our quirks. If we didn't have the internet, we'd all be struggling, I'm sure. But we have the internet still. And while that's still going, we have a connection, and I feel like that's not going to be affected by all of this, but who knows? Touch wood on that one. Or as my stepmom does, touch wood. That's pretty much everybody I know goes touch wood. But, fingers crossed that that's still there and we still have contact with the outside world. We just have to do what we can to keep the outside world safe, to keep people we love safe, to keep the people we care about safe. I can't imagine the feeling if you had it and had affected someone without your knowledge. I just couldn't imagine that. That'd be such a horrible feeling. Anyway, I'm trying not to think about those things too much. As I said, trying to be as positive as possible given the current situation. So I hope that you're okay. I hope that you're all okay. And generally speaking, I am about to talk to people, especially my friends and things like that. One thing, I don't post on Facebook very often. I don't actually put myself out there all that much. This is the first time I've probably ever really gotten into personal stuff, which is a big thing. But yeah, so I posted on Facebook yesterday after I got home from the shops, and I sort of had mentioned that there was one thing that I couldn't find when I was out, that I was in a sense worried about running out of, but I'm not really stressed about it because I have enough to get by. I was just trying to avoid leaving the house again. And from that, I had my stepbrother, messaging me going, I can bring some, message me going, or leave in a comment going, I can bring some over if you need it. Let me know. And I had 2-3 other friends, say they could bring some to me if I needed it. Or I could order it online. Like all these people came out with suggestions, and that makes me feel so happy that I surround myself with those sorts of people, thankfully. But it does make you feel good that people care and that they're willing to offer help in these situations. Because really, I can still go down the shop and get it if I really need it. It's an essential item for my pussycats, because I was kitty litter that I was after. But like I said, it's not urgent. Like I don't need it desperately. We'll manage for a little while. Plus, the cats can technically go outside in the garden if they really want. And you can leave kitty litter in there a little bit longer. Like it might smell, but it's not the end of the world. So it's gonna be okay. It was just nice to know that all these people cared enough to offer their assistance, and that made me feel happy. That even in everything that's going on and all the selfishness that's being shown, people are still showing their care and their love and their support. And that's really important. So take care out there, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.